What's up, everyone? I've been on in a long time. It was 3 months ago was the last time that I came on this channel live before I rebranded it as my Rick Beato 2 channel. See if anyone comes on here. It says 5 viewers, but I don't see anyone in the chat yet. I'll give it a second. There we go. Cool. Couple things. Still have my sale going on for Labor Day through tomorrow. Discount code RB50, 50% off my Beato book bundle, my my ear training course, and my Quick Lessons guitar course. What's up, Dean? Those of you that don't know my Quick Lessons guitar course, for those of you newcomers here, and there's a lot of newcomers here, probably about 30 some odd thousand. I have a YouTube course or a video guitar course called Quick Lessons Pro. It's now on, well, you can just find it on my website, but I have the website now, beatoguitar.com is kind of where it'll be. It's redirected to. It doesn't matter if you can click on it on my website, but it's it's 5 hours of video content based on my Quick Lessons series on Instagram. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me at RickBeato1 on Instagram. I know some of you are like, oh, I hate Instagram and everything, but Instagram's really good for following music, because most musicians, hey Mark, most musicians are on Instagram. That is the place that people go to kind of do their thing. And I would say that I really redeveloped my guitar playing because of Instagram, because my channel kind of, my main channel, I never really focused on guitar videos that much. I did early on in the channel, but most of the time, if I think about what do I make videos about on my main channel, I made my punk rock video that people really hated. That's pretty funny. With my good friend Chip, who's amazing. If you haven't watched my top 20 punk rock video, I think because we left off the Offspring, that was like a bridge too far for people. And people had kind of a punk rock attitude about it. I like that, though. I think it's cool. Yeah, so that video, other than that video, what else have I done? I did let me find my videos here. Yeah, so I did the modern guitar discussion with Tosin Abasi, Mesha Mansour, and Tim Henson from Polyphia, and that was a really interesting video. We did that in LA when I went out there for Eric Weinstein's podcast, The Portal. And matter of fact, Eric was there in the room. For those of you that know Eric, was there in the room watching. What's up, Brett? Good to see you. Some of you are mentioning the Bohemian Rhapsody video that I interviewed Brian May for, and I'm trying to get that done by tomorrow. I'm not sure that that's going to happen. It might be the day after tomorrow. It's the song is so involved, man. There is nothing more complex than Bohemian Rhapsody. There really isn't. I did that video on the most complex pop song of all time, of Never Gonna Let You Go. But there's nothing that's more complex than Bohemian Rhapsody. If you look at it, the harmonic structures, meaning the chord changes, the melodic structures, the harmony, the harmony parts. Oh my God. It is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculously complicated. And it's kind of 4 songs in one. I'll talk more about it, but it was fascinating, my conversation with Brian. I talked to Brian for an hour and 20 minutes. And I'm gonna what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna release the I'm gonna put out the video on Bohemian Rhapsody, and then I'll probably release my conversation with Brian because it was so interesting. I mean, some of the things don't relate to the song, but the stuff that he's talking about is really historic. Just about what was going on back then. I thought about this though. I was talking to a buddy of mine last night. One of my really good friends from high school, who was a few years in front of me, named Jim Baruto, and Jim was in a band called Elias that I loved in high school. He graduated in '78, 2 years before me, and I used to go see his band play, and they were phenomenal for a high school band. For any kind of band, they were amazing. Um, and he was talking about. I said to him, Jim, do you remember things from from when you gigged back then with your high school band? He goes, well, I can remember some individual gigs a little bit. He goes, but what are you going to remember from 50 years ago? And I was like, yeah, I'm asking Brian May questions, or Ron Carter, who I had lunch with yesterday here. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Ron was in town. And he's like, what do you remember from the '70s? I said, I don't know. But he said, but Brian's been asked about Bohemian Rhapsody, so he's kind of had he's talked about it for years from the '80s on when it was fresh, so you remember more. And then, you think about the stuff for the movie when they did the movie. But I asked him some very different questions about it. And my breakdown is I'm breaking down the harmonies and things like that, and there are things that I've always wondered about that I think are that I never ever it never occurred to me, even though I've listened to it a million times. I'd never thought about the first chord. If I thought about it, I'd be like, yeah, it's a 6 chord. It's a B flat 6 chord. D, F, G, B flat from the bottom up. That's the voicing that Freddie Mercury sings. I wonder if this piano's on. It's not on. I wish it was on. Maybe it could be on here. Hold on. Let me see if I can put a piano on. But it's it's not simply. Let's go like this. Let me put a piano on here. Okay. Let's see if it comes. There we go. The first chord voicing. Right? So that's how it starts. But that's the voice. That's the first chord of Bohemian Rhapsody in the harmony parts that Freddie Mercury sings all together. So Pulsar Light says, I like the song 39 by Brian May. I forgot that I did a cover of that song. I forgot to mention it to Brian. I have to find it. I did a cover for something, like for a movie or something. I can't remember. It was for a major label. And I don't remember who it was with, but I remember doing a cover of that song for a movie. I think because they couldn't get the rights for from Queen, maybe. I don't remember. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I definitely did it. I did, and it was probably in 2004, probably 2004 or so, something like that. But I think it was for. I think it was. I can't remember the movie. It was definitely for a movie, though. I'm pretty sure. That was a Brian song. "We Will Rock You" is a Brian song. He wrote that song. It's unbelievable. It's kind of mind-boggling to have written those songs. And I'm so lucky to get to talk to these people. I mean, to talk to Brian May, to talk to Ron Carter, to talk to Pat Metheny, Peter Frampton. Um, what, that is ridiculous. From starting a YouTube channel where I talk about music, and me talking about music is just me talking about music that I love. Is created that environment to the success of it helped me meet people like that. It's unbelievable. Geddy Lee and Alex, yeah, that's there's some talk that may be a possibility, doing an interview with Alex, and maybe Geddy and Alex. I've had a discussion about that, not with them personally, but with people related to them. Who knows? It would be amazing if that happened. I mean, oh my God, I'm a massive Rush fan, and it would be incredible. But my conversation with Brian was just incredible, just incredible. He's such what a great guy, man, and just a brilliant musician, songwriter, singer, guitar player, sonic architect. Um, so, what about an interview with Pete Townsend? That would be great. I'm hoping that these. I'm hoping that the interviews will some of these interviews will fall into place over the next over the next year or so. People aren't getting any younger. None of us are. I mean, man. So that would be great. I'd love to interview Pete Townsend. Oh man, that would be amazing. So yeah. Um, Pete Townsend is as grumpy as Roger Waters and Van Morrison. Come on, I don't believe it. Every time I see Roger Waters, he seems like he's always in a good mood. Um, so Buck Dharma. Okay, so I've talked to Buck, or to Don. We've emailed with each other, Don Roser, and we're going to do um, we're going to do Don't Fear the Reaper together. We've talked about it. I just need to get it scheduled. That's the so that's another thing that's going to happen. But I just need to really get on it. I'm just, the thing is that it's a very small outfit here, and I'm just one person. So Don Roser is underrated. Don Roser is a phenomenal guitar player. Man, wow. Guitar solo in Don't Fear the Reaper is amazing. It really is. The guitar parts in there, oh, forget it. Rick Beato is at times Rolling Stone magazine. Thank you, David. Well, when Rolling Stone was good. Um, let's see here. Have I got a high watt? Do I dig it? I have like 4 high watts, and they're great. Um, you love the talk show thumbnail. There we go, Santiago. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's like I thought tonight I was going to make a talk show thumbnail. This is the thank you, Austin. This is the channel where I'm gonna, I can come and answer questions, because it's not, 10 billion people on it. This is manageable, even with 434 people on. The this is very, very manageable. So will we ever see a video on the band? Yes. David Gilmour, definitely going to happen at some point. I hope so, anyways. Um, an interview with Alex and Getty would be the best thing ever. Oh man, that would be incredible. Really would. Um, I know that um, I know it's been a long time since I've been on here, but rebranding this channel is something I've wanted to do because I feel like there's a lot of material that I don't put out on my main channel and things that have gotten lost that people have not seen. Um, so this is the place where I'm kind of going back to the early kind of content that I had. I was kind of disappointed with some of the lack of views on the my piece that I put up on there. That's 7 minutes and everything, and I don't know why people don't click on things like that. That's kind of a thing that people that are music people, I know, that's one of the things. I had this discussion with one of my really good friends last night, who's a great YouTuber. I won't mention their name, but and this YouTuber put up some of their own music, and it was very poorly viewed. And I said, well, you got to understand, YouTube is kind of transactional in some ways. If you don't grow your channel by playing original music, then nobody wants to hear your original music, right? Unless it's in service of something, like in service of of teaching. They don't want to listen to it if it's just to listening music. Yeah, I'm talking about the Angry Shoebox. I'm talking about the movie soundtrack video, just the music video that I put up. I forget what I called it on this channel. I wish that people would give it a listen, give it a chance, and listen all the way through. When I look at the analytics, there's it's whatever 8 minute piece, and people listen to 2.5 minutes of it, and it's like, is that really the attention span of people? People can't give a thing a listen all the way through. I mean, that's it, just 2.5 minutes. That's but that's the reality of it. So to think it's going to be any different, but the transactional part of it about YouTube is that a YouTuber will come on, they will either teach you something or entertain you for free, right? And then hopefully you'll come back and watch more of their channels, and maybe you'll support the channel by becoming a member of their Patreon, by supporting their Patreon, or in my case, the Beato Club, or donate money to the channel, or buy an educational product that a YouTuber puts out. Most music YouTubers have courses, like myself. I have a sale going on now that's, I don't do this 50% off sale ever. This is the second time this year I've done it. RB50, that's the discount code. You want to buy something, you want to say, I want to support Rick, I'm going to buy his ear training course, or I'm going to buy his guitar book or whatever. I'm going to buy his quick lessons guitar course because I want to support the channel. And, these things end up costing what one guitar lesson would cost with a teacher. I mean, that's ultimately the thing, is that, when you watch a YouTuber, forget about me, any YouTuber, you think about it. If it's Tim Pierce or Marty Schwartz or Paul Davids or Rhett Shull or Adam Neely, anybody that, all these guitar players are have courses out and things like that, and or they have Patreons, or they have ways to support their channels, and that's a way. And typically the things that you pay for, you're actually buying something. You're not only supporting their channel, but you're also you're getting something for yourself to further your musical education. And I always think about this fact that I started playing the cello when I was in third grade, when I was 8 years old. And everything I've learned in my life, I use on this channel. I use to teach people. Literally everything. From learning how to read music, which started back then in like the early 70s, to when I learned the Kid Charlemagne guitar solo in 1976, or I learned the Bohemian Rhapsody guitar solo in 1975, or I learned the Toto, the Rosanna solo in 1982. These are things that I've carried with me, or the Pat Metheny things that I've learned, that I've shared on here on my main channel and on this channel. These are things that have accumulated over a lifetime that I've put out to, to people. Anybody that has an internet connection can watch these things. And I'm proud of the fact that I've used my education for something that I think is at least good in the world. That my agenda is to teach people things and turn them on to music that they may not have had a chance to check out. Thank you, Austin. Thoughts on Thundercat? It's interesting. People are always asking me about thoughts on musicians. How do you talk about musicians? Thoughts on. It's like thoughts on. Thoughts on Brian May. What do you say about Brian May? Well, I make videos on Brian May, or I'll have Thundercat on, or or somebody will say like, "Why don't you interview Jacob Collier?" It's like, well, I wrote to Jacob Collier, but I didn't hear anything back, and Jacob Collier has his own his own YouTube channel. So, where does one send an email or letter? You can send a letter. You can send me an email. Somebody asked where you send an email. Just Rick Beato 1 at Gmail. Tom, Mr. Tom McGill, how are you, Tom? Good to see you. Good to see you. I owe you I owe you a text back. I'd love to have Jacob on. That's not a thing on saying. That's not to say that I wouldn't want to have Jacob on. But when people ask me, "What are your thoughts on Jacob Collier?" It's like, what is there? It's a huge subject. Let's see here. Big Salty, love everything you. Can you read my question from 1049 on the Spanish Phrygian Arabic scale about how to alter notes and make proper chords? Did you ask me that before or something? I don't see this here. The Spanish Phrygian Arabic scale, about having to alter notes to make proper chords. I'm not sure what you mean about that. I don't know what that means. Write me an email about it and give me an example of what you're talking about. I'm not sure about what altering notes means. What are your thoughts on building your own guitar? I don't. I made a video on here. I don't build my own guitars. I have my buddy Dave build the guitars, and he's built me a couple of them. And I have a video that I just put out on this channel about that. Somebody says Mark Letary. I had Mark on my channel. Go look up the interview. I interviewed Mark years ago. Jamie says, thank you, Jamie. Says, start a new series where you review an unknown artist. You'll be the first victim, LOL. Review the instrumental album as I just did with Ken. Okay, so one of the things, Jamie, and this is not anything personal, but people don't want to. If people won't check out my music that I post, okay, with a huge following here, why are they going to check out somebody that's unknown? And that's, I'm just looking at it like I have a certain amount of bandwidth to do things, right? And uh, you know, if I spend that bandwidth that's away from my wife and kids on making content for people, um, do I want to make content about things that are unknown when people don't even watch videos on my own music? So and I think that's a pretty valid thing. And I don't, uh, that's my feeling. Like, if they don't watch my stuff, my own personal music that I make that means something to me, that they know me and they know me from making 1,000 free videos on here. Why are they going to watch a video on some unknown artist, me critiquing their music? Well, they're not. I mean, that's honestly the question, or that's honestly the answer. So that's why I don't do that. I just don't think it's not it's not a reasonable use of time on it's kind of a wasted upload, and it's sad to say that. It really is, because I think it's instructive. It would be instructive to talk about things that are not perfect. Let's see. Scott says, "Love to see me interview Dave Pensato or on Pensato's Place. They're both awesome content creators." I know Dave. He's a great guy. I like Dave a lot. And he's never invited me on. He's never invited me on a channel. The only times I've ever met Dave, he complains to me about. He's like, "Yeah, I've got some. I have a beef to pick about you about some of my top 20 lists." So I'm waiting for Dave to invite me on, and he hasn't. I'm not. I'm not big enough to be on Dave's channel, I guess. Dave's a very nice guy. I met him at a studio when I was with Tim Pierce out in LA. It was a couple of years. I've met him a couple times, actually. Met him a couple times. He's an extremely nice guy, and Dave's a very talented guy. And he's from here, from Georgia. My old piano tuner used to play in a band with him back in high school. Last note. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Thank you for all your work, Rick. Do you have any modern singer-songwriters that you particularly like these days? Well, modern singer-songwriters that I like. I do. Can I think of them right now off the top of my head? Maybe in a minute I can, but my mind's kind of a blank right now. I'm not. I don't know what is modern. I was. I remember when I made my Led Zeppelin my Stairway to Heaven video, and I said I'm gonna get a modern guitar player, and I said Eric Johnson, and it's like I'm at modern, like, you know. But Eric Johnson is a guy that's 67, that's been around for years. I guess he wasn't modern. I had Adam Franklin on my channel. Tyler said that. Yes, I did. That was a really great thing to do. That was something I was very, very excited about. And I need to reach back out to Adam. I'd like to have Adam on again. Let's see here. Somebody says, David says, Rick recently discovered Idnessen because of you, blew me away. I wonder if you could share the string quartet. You know, I put the video up of one of those improvs on here, and my God, there's some foul comments on there. Really offensive. I got rid of them. I mean, really offensive things that people say. You know, once again, it's that people, so many people have to comment about, just like when I did the Oscar Peterson video, it's always, not so much with that video, but you see a lot of things, Keith Emerson this, Keith Emerson that. Well, there's no, I mean, some of the boogie woogie stuff that Oscar does are things that Keith Emerson was influenced by, for sure. There is no comparison between Keith Emerson. As much as I love Keith Emerson and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, you can't really compare Oscar Peterson and Keith Emerson. It's like, Jupiter and the sun. They're nothing alike. Stylistically, they're not just the language that they speak is completely different. It's like, let's compare English and Mandarin. Okay. How do you compare English and Mandarin? They don't use, one's a tonal language, one isn't. So anyways, but yet people want to put in things. They want to always compare everything. This is Sean Lane, or it's like this. Anything that has fast guitar playing is like Sean Lane. It's like, not everything is like Sean Lane. Not everything is like, or Chick Corea or whatever. Like they want to have an opinion. It's important to have opinions about things, but just writing down something that it reminds you of, and as a comment, and I understand that people don't know that they're not the same things. If you look at the movie Good Will Hunting, there's a scene where the math professor says to him, there's only 5 people. Will Hunting lights this thing on this paper on fire, and he freaks out. And he says, the professor says, there's only 5 people in the world that can tell the difference between you and I. And unfortunately, I'm one of them. Now, I'm not sure how that has anything to do with anything, but it kind of does. Somehow. Okay, Irvin says, the latest interviews with Ron Carter and Pat Metheny were incredible. No one else does this like you do. Thank you so much. We're thinking of ways to help financially support you. Somehow we'll get you there. I appreciate that. I put a link in and people donated. I put a donate link in on the first comment of the Pat Metheny video, and that's really helped towards offsetting the costs of that. But I met Ron yesterday in person for the first time, and we met at his hotel before he was on his way over to. We met for a Coke in the afternoon before he went to do an interview and everything, and I talked to Ron for an hour, and it was absolutely phenomenal. Man, what a dream! Thank you, Tom, so much. I really appreciate that. Gabriel, Rick, love your work. Have you listened to the new John Mayer record? If yes, thoughts? I've only listened to a couple songs, so I wouldn't. I really can't comment on it. Let's see here. What's my email? Big Salty, just email to my, it's right on my, just send it to my, you guys realize you can just email my, on my website, use the email on my website. That's my email. It goes right to my email. So anytime anyone says anything to that, I get it. So just send it there. Send me the chart that you have. Big Salty and I will absolutely answer it. It's easier to answer questions like that instead of in the chat by seeing it. Do I like Royal Blood? I've talked about Royal Blood a number of times on the main channel. Yes. Rick, I really enjoy your interviews with Tim Pierce. Oh, I love Tim. Tim's the beast. Janine, my cousin. Janine is my first cousin. And we are the same age. Janine, though, aren't I a couple of months older than you? I think that's true. I think I'm like 2 months older than you. Good to see you. I need to see you. I never see Janine, and we both live in Atlanta, although she does live in the other side of Atlanta. But would love to see you. A couple months older. But she's literally my first cousin. Her dad and my mother were a brother and sister. Her dad was a fantastic musician, and he and my mom were very, very close. I just saw a picture of your dad today, Janine. I was looking through a photo album, and I saw your dad, and it was great. I was thinking of your dad when I talked to Ron Carter yesterday about Ron. And Ron was talking about playing in Rochester in the 50s, and when he was going to Eastman, and he told me that he's been up to Rochester recently and that he doesn't recognize it at all. And I said, well, I don't recognize it either. I don't go there enough. Stuart says, Rick, what about a Buddy Guy interview? Must have a million stories at age 85. That would be great to interview Buddy Guy. A lot of this stuff is just finding the connections to them. The thing with the connections to Geddy and Alex from Rush, that happened through a dear friend of mine, my friend David, who's went to high school with the guys from Rush, and who's a fantastic producer, dear friend of mine. And he's the one that's really been like, Rick, you need to do these interviews. You got to do these interviews. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do them. Herbie, you got to do Herbie. So I'm going to hopefully have a interview Herbie Hancock, and I'm trying to set up my interview with Joni Mitchell, and so we're getting there. These will happen. I just have to. It's a lot of organizational. There's a lot of organizational elements to setting up these things. Have I ever listened to UFO record Phenomenon? I have, but it's been a long time. Wayne Shorter, yes, Wayne Shorter, Keith Jarrett, Sonny Rollins. Those are hard, it's very difficult. Wayne's 87 now. Sonny Rollins is, Sonny's got to be 92, I would think. Something like that. He's in his 90s. He might be 93 by now. Ron I got to meet because Ron is on social media. So it makes it a lot easier. I was laughing. Ron's sound, I'm embarrassed to say it, and I'll admit it here. Ron's sound of his microphone was way better than mine. Okay, and I'm thinking, like, how does Ron Carter have better sound? Like, he knows how to use Zoom better than I do. Well, actually, it's not saying much. That shows my ineptitude at that. Ron does know them, and I talked to Ron about reaching out to Herbie, and Pat Metheny. Pat is friends with Herbie as well, so that's and knows Wayne. So there's definitely some avenues there. So I'm trying my best. Tony Levin, definitely that would be amazing too. Ron's 84. Ron is 84 and just killing. He's just really. It was incredible. I'm talking to him. I'm talking to a guy yesterday that was 60 years old, that was 80 years old, 84 years old. That seems like he's 60 years old. Have I interviewed Steve Gadd yet? I have not, Janine, and he's definitely a person that I need to interview. I think I have a connection with Steve. I know people that know Steve. And that would be a great interview. Keith Jarrett interview, Robert. I don't know how that would I'm not sure how that would happen. John Scofield, that could definitely happen, and that's another one that I would like to do. I'm a huge John Scofield fan, and I've met John before. I spent a day with John back in 1985 or 86 when he came to NEC, and he was he did a master class there, and I picked him up at the airport. I hung out with him all day, and he was the nicest guy. Oh man, and he was killing it then. Man, he was playing good. John McLaughlin, Thomas Newman. These are all George Benson. These are all things that would be amazing to get. Guthrie, I've talked to Guthrie a couple times. He's not doing interviews right now, or he hasn't been any of the times that I've reached out to him, but I'll try again. Let's see here. Hey, Rick, I'd like to get your new opinions on the Days of the New, if you're not familiar with their work. Of course I'm familiar with Days of the New. Yeah. They had some good songs. They were a good band. Is it Travis Meeks, the singer? They were produced by Scott Litt, I want to say. He did their first record. First and second records had some good songs on them, from what I remember. I have not heard them. Let's see here. Okay, so there's a lot of things on here. Steve Hackett would be another great one. I've interviewed Joe Satriani, and I see Bumblefoot on here. Ron and I are really good friends, and I'm working on a video with Ron. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Jack DeJohnette, definitely another possibility. I talked with Pat about Jack, and I think that's definitely a possibility there. So, anyways, okay, so I'm gonna go now. I've been on way longer than I thought I was gonna be on. You guys are the best. I got my sale going on for another 45 minutes. RB50 is the discount code. You want to support the channel, you can support it that way. You can donate. There's a donate button at the bottom of my website. It says donate. Just go to the very, very bottom and look for donate. Or you can purchase something from my store. And those things, like I said, it's like basically any of these things are like taking a guitar lesson, whether it's my ear training course or my Beato book. My Beato book is a third of what a guitar lesson would cost. And so that's a way that you can support the channel. Wear your glasses, Bruce says. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Good to see my cousin Janine, too. Janine, we need to talk soon. All right, we'll see you guys. Have a great evening. Take care.